Welcome back. We are still talking some high school hoops, and you know what? Laurel, their season, it got delayed a little bit. Their football team had that huge run to the state championship.
Just a little.
Believe it or not, a small school, there's a lot of dual athletes there. Well, they finally got going. They were back on the court Friday night when they traveled up to Seaford for their season opener. The Bulldogs, Ray Pacheco comes up with the steal here, and he chases down the play after the miss, and he gets a putback to reward himself right there at the other end. But back come the Blue Jays. Raheem Smith, he can put that one on the homer, gets the rebound, and then goes back up for two right there on the putback. Laurel had a 1-point lead at the break, but Seaford came out firing in the second half here. Jaquan Darling, check out this shot, somehow gets baseline by his man, drives in for the layup. But the Bulldogs would close this thing out strong. Gary Warren gets a steal, takes it the other way, and that's one of those athletes I was talking about. Stuffs that thing home for 2 of his 10 points. The Bulldogs take this one 64-55 the final.
And it was a sold-out crowd on Friday as Caesar Rodney hosted Dover. We started off Dover's Jordan Allen puts the first points on the board and make that 3. Allen fired up, and the rest of the crowd is too, and the Senators were not done yet. Now, I've seen some good passing, and this one we can at least say it was gutsy. Steven Justin from the floor to Terrence Woodland for 2. And don't blink, Riders back in this. Joseph William knocks down the jumper. This game was back and forth all night, but the Dover Senators would take this one 59-46.
That was a big win there. Well, Woodbridge was at home taking on Indian River Friday night. Early on this one, Kewan Major pulls up from deep and drains the long ball right there. But back come the Blue Raiders. It's Shamir Vessels this time. He takes it hard to the cup, gets the rebound, gets fouled, and up and in for the and one right there. Indians turn, and it was Davon Justice with a nice take here. He gets the floater to go off the baseline. I don't know how you find that angle, but it worked for him right there early on. Woodbridge then would turn up the defense in this thing, and that would prove to be the difference. Byron Lake gets a steal right here, finds Randy DuPont gliding at the other end for 2 of his 23 points on the night. The Blue Raiders end up taking this one 82-60 the final.
And we bring it back to Maryland. Y-High hosting Stephen Decatur. Seahawks Jaron Johnson goes for the 3, doesn't get it, but Keon Ely right there for the rebound, tips it in. He finished with 18 points on Thursday night. And a little later in the game, Indians with some great defensive efforts. Lionel Batson with the block sees Torrey Brittingham making his way to the other end of the court. Boom, an easy lay-in. And Decatur still in this, though. Kevin Land is, I don't think anybody's going to stop him right here. He just goes all the way.
No one wants to pick a ball? No
there
one?
He goes.
All right.
But this night ended up belonging to Y-High. They get a big win against Stephen Decatur, 80-58.
I know that one was fun for Torrey after he transferred from Decatur over there to Y-High.
Can you make points like that? I know you play basketball.
I didn't have anything like that. I was below the rim type player right there. Well, what a start to this whole season. I mean, it was a wild week out there. Only 2 weeks in, and if this has been any kind of indication, this is going to be a fun season.
I know, so many games. We got upsets, winning streaks. This season has everything, and Trey Miles joins us now, who has everything you need to know about this week's Power Rankings. Trey, are we in for a surprise?
Well, Giselle, I don't know about that, but there has certainly been a fair share of drama early on in the year. Good teams are taking care of business as expected. In Maryland, Parkside comes in at number 1. Certainly to no surprise, the Rams have averaged 98 points a game. And remember, these are 8-minute quarters in high school. They are playing some great basketball right now. Y-High creeping up to number 2, not really being talked about much, but I'm sure Coach Waller and company are fine with that. Washington stays at 3. Pocomoke sits quietly at 3-0 at number 4. Coach Fuchs has his guys playing some great defense right now. And Bennett at number 5, they making an all Bayside South top 5 over to the First State Polytech. Reigning in at number 1 again, a great performance on the road against rival Sussex Tech, and 6'8" forward Jawan Gray just might be the best player on the shore. Let me tell you, Dover checking in at number 2. The Senators also coming off an emotional win against their rivals. Woodbridge looked really solid when I saw them on Friday. They sit in 3rd place at 3-0. Have to keep Sussex Tech in my top 4 despite their 1-2 record. The Ravens have played the toughest schedule in the state by far, and how about Delmar? Weak schedule thus far, but Larry Ennis has given his team a spark, and they are playing some very good basketball early. Guys?
I'll give him a couple points
it's
there,
like not too bad.
and, maybe a dunk.
First of all, you look at the Bayside North, I don't understand what's going on. Not a team has been impressive at the start of the season so far. We'll see if they can turn that around the South. For Maryland's goals, I completely agree. Actually, I have the exact same top 5. You go over to Delaware, I have the top 2, still Poly, and then Dover there at number 2. I switched things around a little bit there towards the end. I got Delmar at number 3 at 3-0. I know they haven't really played anyone very impressive right now, but they have looked impressive still in those wins. I squeak in there with Sussex Tech at the bottom. At 1 and 2, I can't justify, even though they've had good competition. they just have a long way left to go, I feel like.
They do, and apparently we had no surprise in the top rankings. You know, we'll be waiting on our chicken noodle soup tray to keep us warm, but Parkside and Polytech battled the 2Ps in 2 different states, and I have nothing to say. I mean, I agree with the rankings. Both teams undefeated, and Trey, you know, you just keep making us proud.
Slowly but surely, he'll
From
get it
football to
himself,
basketball.
right?
There you
He's
go.
coming along. Well, lots of high school girls basketball going on this week as well, including a huge showdown over in Mardella, where the Warriors were looking to remain undefeated when they hosted Pocomoke on Thursday. Mardella grabbed the early lead, but Pocomoke was hanging tough in this thing. Denisha Christian down low with a strong move baseline up and in for 2 right there. But just before the end of the first, it was Demira Selby comes up with the steal, takes this thing coast to coast, gets a little bump, and she'll finish it regardless. That made it 19-17 after 1. Second quarter now, Mardella goes on a 5-0 run, sparked all by Taylor Ross, including that long ball right there. That was just a gorgeous shot. Pocomoke, though, trying to hang tough. DeShonda Dennis shows she can shoot the long ball as well, squares up and knocks that one down. We got a 1-point game, but Selby would take over in the second half, gets the steal and scores for the Land. Mardella gets a huge win at home, 73-54 the final.
She's having a good season. All right, and some more Maryland action. Cambridge South Dorchester hosting Kent Island in the second quarter. Bucks Hannah Moran, with the wide open 3-pointer. That would keep the Bucks lead, and the Vikings would mishandle the ball on this next play. Bucks Sari Miles recovers and an easy layup for Kent Island, but CSD not going down without a fight. Moving around the ball here, and Jazana Butler ends up putting it in down low.
Okay, working hard down there.
There you go. Vikings still down by more than 20 points, though, so Butler answered again a couple of possessions later. Here she goes.
Gets the steal.
Kent Island, she did.
Okay.
Kent Island continued to dominate offensively as they take this one 51-21.
You know, that's still a very young Vikings team, so I think you see them a couple years down the line, they're going to be bouncing back pretty good. Well, all right, we're going to take another quick commercial break, but coming up next, we got high school wrestling, a huge tournament over at Parkside this weekend. Keep it right here. That's coming up next.
I'm Hannah Moran. I go to Kent Island High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.